Good day, Nigeria. My name is Babatunde Adela Kende, and welcome to another edition of Election Desk on GhanaWeb TV. We also stream on GhanaWeb TV. On today's show, we'll be speaking to a few journalists about the trending issues from Nigeria. But two topics that actually come to the top of our mind is the fact that Atiku Abubakar and Okowa visited Channels TV for a town hall meeting. We'll discuss the controversies and the promises from that particular event. We'll also be discussing the controversies that came up as a result of Labour Party, the presidential candidate, I must say, Peter Obi, his visit to Shiloh. This and many more we'll talk about when we come back from this show. Welcome back. To do the conversation with me in studio are two colleagues of mine, one from Nigeria and the other is right here in Accra. And Grace, Grace is the head of online unit for Daily Times Nigeria, as well as Alpha Shaban is a political analyst. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
A lot is happening in Nigeria. Like we all know, the political season is on. Nigerians are talking. The political stakeholders are also talking. But let me just get your initial thoughts on the elections and how the political parties are preparing before we delve into the issues. Grace, I'll start with you because we are hosting you right here in Accra, so share your thoughts with us.
Okay, so for the 2023 general election, which will be coming up in February, my own opinion to the whole election thing is it's very important for the Nigerians to be able to get their PVCs on time and then vote right. That will be all I'll be saying about it for now.
Shaban, you follow elections in Nigeria. You followed elections across several other countries across Africa. What are your initial thoughts and your perception about this particular poll?
So basically, I think that now we can say for sure the election is in full swing because you are barely 2 months away, and I think it's exactly 2 months because in February I'm doing it somewhere earlier. Very good, so you can imagine you are almost exactly 2 months away. So the campaign season is in full swing in Nigeria. It's a big deal. It's Nigeria because the stakes are very high. The price is that big. You are going to superintend over Africa's biggest economy over Africa's largest population. Even with the challenges that are there for everybody to see, you can still feel the vibe. People are there. People want the job. So you can imagine what goes on. So yeah, it's typical campaign season. Allegations here and there. Non-stop trips. Journalists are all over the place. You are following him from one state to the other, 2-3 states in a day. So the vibe is there, and it's Nigeria, so you expect it to be there. So my worry actually is how Nigerians are going to celebrate Christmas going into the new year. But
why is your worry?
It's Nigeria, so no, it's more. The buzz is more campaign.
Okay.
There's more noise. So how are you going to find time to fit the whole Christmas thing into what is going on? You know. But one thing is for sure. The security situation is more calmer compared to other years when you could have threats that, oh, in Christmas we are going to, and when they are issuing advisories. But I think now everything is more calmer. Apart from the currency change, there's not too much about the economy. It's hard, but people are
living their lives.
So I think it's campaign season. We expect more than what is happening. But what is happening?
So the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, alongside his vice president, they were on Channels TV for a town hall meeting, and they spoke about very, very interesting issues that are of interest to Nigerians, one of which is insecurity. They spoke about health, they spoke about the economy, and they spoke about education. We'll first start with insecurity, and Atiku has pledged to tackle this particular thing, and he said that he's going to handle the IPOB stuff. He's going to handle separatist movement in Nigeria. And for the IPOB, he said, if elected, I believe we can be able to negotiate with the agitators of the Southeast as far as the issue of Biafra is concerned. We believe that what they need is more autonomy as far as their sub-region is concerned. He also added that he's going to deploy technology to handle security. I quote him, he said, I admire the United Arab Emirates security system because you won't see police or security personnel on the street, but virtually everyone is being monitored through the deployment of technology. So this is how he believes he can handle security. Shaban, I'll come to you before I go to Ada. The vice president has said he's going to negotiate with IPOB, more or less give them the autonomy. But do you think that's something he can do, seeing that he's a Northerner and Nigerians or the people from the South is they trusted a Northerner once in Buhari, and somebody's coming to make the same promise?
Okay, so I would just make a very quick take on the fact that it's a town hall meeting and this whole ruling party stubbornness about we are not going to come for any debate with everybody, and Asiwaju running behind everybody so that he won't appear with Atiku and Obi on the same platform. Only God knows what he goes to Chatham House and all the controversy. I think that is why Atiku channels and other people are doing town hall meetings of sorts, so that candidates can come and present their issues. Now to the vexed issue. Any Nigerian politician who is seeking national leadership knows that one of his biggest headaches is security. There are no two ways about it. Apart from terrorism, there is banditry, there is kidnapping. In the southeast, there is separatist violence. And Atiku coming to tell the southeast, IPOB in particular, that I am going to tackle the issue. And then he brings in negotiation. Now here's the question. The people behind IPOB are using violent means. Would they sit with anybody? You can cascade it to leadership. That, oh, they don't trust the current leadership. They don't trust Buhari. Buhari has given them python dance, whatever. They don't trust him. They won't sit with Buhari. They may sit with someone else. But you ask yourself the question, is IPOB under a strong leadership that can say, everybody cease fire, we are going for negotiations? We've heard in recent times, there are other splinter groups. It's not only IPOB there, but IPOB looks like the bigger one. Yeah. But there are splinter groups. We've heard that it's not Kanu alone. There are people behind who are also... Yeah. So is IPOB... Does IPOB have that central leadership that's going to say, we are all ceasing fire, we are going to negotiation? That's the first issue. Now, it's a security issue. It is impacting people's lives, people's businesses. There are shutdowns every Mondays or so. People don't go to work.
Sit at home.
So if they are sit at homes and you are telling me they are going to negotiate, where are you going to start from when you decide to negotiate? So that pledge of negotiation is a problem on its own, in my opinion. Now, when he talks about autonomy, well, you can credit Atiku for one thing. He's been about this restructuring. He's been very big on restructuring. He's gone on and on that restructuring. But you see, from the Buhari experience, it's easier said than done. They will promise you restructuring. When they come and they know the realities, then it becomes another clash. So yes, IPOB must be tackled. I think it's the biggest security threat in the southeast. It must be tackled. Be that as it may, I think people like Atiku should have privileged information based on which you can say, I will do one or two things. So Atiku is a politician like any other person. You can't doubt him, but you can't also put full trust in him that he can solve the IPOB problem. So as it is now, we've had his portion of it. Buhari used a little bit of violence. He tried using negotiation. He wouldn't go that way. He has even arrested Kanu, which has heightened tensions. So those are issues. But if Atiku says he's bringing negotiation, let's look at what negotiation has reaped in the years past. Even since Ojukwu, what did negotiation yield?
Nothing, right?
So let's wait and see what Atiku... If I had the benefit of asking Atiku a follow-up question, I ask him to be specific about what kind of negotiation is going into.
I mean, I totally agree. Grace, so Atiku has said he's going to negotiate. He's going to introduce a few mechanisms that he's basically going to have to introduce to tackle this issue of insecurity. Now, he also says that he's going to introduce the use of technology to tackle them. He said in the UAE, he said the security systems allows the police to be dormant, really. Is this something you believe it can bring to the southeast?
Okay, so,
and will it be effective, by the way?
Okay, so for me, I would say all this is promises, as my colleague said, is easier said than done. So for example, if you say you're going to bring people from UAE, like what you see in UAE, to happen here in Nigeria, it will take a very long time for it to sink in to our people here in Nigeria, because they are already used to a kind of way of doing things that's in solving a lot of issues. Okay, for example, for the security issue now, IPOB is one of the strongest, will I say, yes, it's one of the strongest organization they'll say, okay, most people call them as a terrorist group, but they are not terrorists.
They're separatists, really.
Yes, they're not terrorist group. So it's something people have to understand. So if Atiku is saying that he's going to negotiate with them, as he said, what are the, angles he wants to use in negotiating with them? For me, I would have said that since this Christmas have come now, for example, the first thing that they are supposed to do, any of them, to go speak to Buhari and then ask if Kanu can speak, especially to the IPBO people, ESN and all those other people, so that there will be a lot of calm, even during the election and even after the election. That's the first step he has to do for now, yes.
So the first step is that he will basically need to release Nnamdi Kanu to speak to his people.
Yes.
There are also concerns that the separatist group, that's the IPOB, ESN, might not listen to Nnamdi Kanu. I heard in the news actually that Nnamdi Kanu, through his lawyer, has said that he debunked the rumors that he was part of the whole sit-at-home order, and he's asked people to actually live their normal lives, especially on Monday and Tuesdays, where these things happen. But are you sure they are going to listen to him?
I hope and I believe they should listen to him, because before IPBO or ESN and what is Kanu, we know. Yes, let me put it that way. Yes.
Good. Shaban, Atiku has spoken about health. He says he's going to strengthen the country's national health insurance scheme. He says he's going to develop incentives for private sector to invest in healthcare. Okowa actually also said he's going to create a pool of funds just so the NHIS scheme is equipped more or less with funds. What are your thoughts on that?
You see, the reality is that it's campaign season, so they are all being typical politicians. Everything that they are saying, from the health insurance improvements to the private sector investment in health, if you like, go fact check their manifestos from Obasanjo. The same thing is there. It's not as if they don't know it. They know what it is. But you see, repeatedly, they have to come and then sell you the same idea, that this is what I'm going to do. Because they've run out of ideas. It's not as if they have anything new to tell you. So the very same old things. Because see, you see what he's saying here. If you like, go and check a Ghanaian political manifesto, it's the same ideas. Everybody wants to improve health insurance. Because the idea, what is the idea? The idea is that the health insurance benefits the poor and the vulnerable. Yeah. There are those who benefit more from it. And their understanding is that the elite alone cannot vote for themselves. They need the poor, the masses, as it were, to vote for them. So he sells you what is populist. To tell me that you improve national health insurance, even APC will tell you the same thing. Because these are the issues that go to the heart of the campaign, okay? So we've heard, but I keep saying the nitty-gritties. If you want to, you see, if you tell me that you're going to improve health insurance, what are the nitty-gritties? What goes into it? Anybody will tell you, okay, so go vet the manifesto, you get it in there. But you see, when you get to speak to the masses, that is when you must lay out the ideas, because not everybody would have access to the manifesto, and not everybody can digest it anyway. So when you have the platform, that's when you must speak to the issues, okay? And I think that they should be speaking to higher issues of medical tourism, for instance. Why stick to the lay people? Already, primary healthcare in Nigeria is nothing to take home about.
Yeah.
They are abandoned places. Okay, people are paying in more private facilities than them. Why wouldn't they make consequential statements like, whenever I'm sick, I'll be treated in Nigeria. I'll make sure I'll build healthcare facilities that will allow me to be treated in Nigeria, not out of Nigeria. How many times has Buhari traveled this year alone? You are there and then get a Twitter message. The president is going to London. He'll be back in 3 days. He's going for routine health checkup.
Interestingly, Bola Ahmed Tinubu the same thing.
He does the same thing. Atiku flies out.
Atiku flies out.
I think being a doctor, maybe that's why will remain in Nigeria. But if not, so they should speak to these higher issues. I think that will even endear me more to a candidate than bringing me the same health insurance, medical. And you see, wait for them to come and then the medical people will go on strike. The manifesto said they will stop ASU from going on strike. When they come, the university system will be grounded. So it's typical Nigerian problems, and Nigerian problems has Nigerian politicians as solutions. That's the problem.
Okay, Nigerian systems basically has the same problem. We'll discuss education, we'll discuss the economy after this break. Stay tuned.
Now, to sang pine, be a want to be a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. No, Mammy, I cook on Sam. Pepoga, send me sicker from Lemonade Finance and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange waiting in Sudia. Unbeatable. Resume promo code no. Dr. Likey. Nenya £10, $10, and now $10 Canadian. What first transaction? What is Sandy Star coffee no? Dialogue to lemon and finance.
Welcome back. Also, we'll be discussing issues on economy and the education. Obviously, still on the town hall meeting by the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, as well as Ifeanyi Okowa, his vice presidential candidate. So Atiku has said he's basically going to ensure that he's going to instruct the CBN to stop multiple exchange rates so that they can close the gap between the naira and the dollar. Everybody has been affected, but how intense has the dollar rise against the dollar against the naira rise affected you?
I would say it's a bit crazy in the sense that before it was more of like we were at number 3, and then now we are at like number 5.
And what?
So I mean the rate has really come very, very high. So before things you get for 200 naira, for example, now you're getting it for 1,500 or 600 naira or thereabouts. You know? So the thing there is, Atiku, since he promised he's going to look into it, they have to find a balance between the dollar and the naira so that it can how will I say it? It can be of a level ground. For the market and all.
True.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, he's also said he's going to focus more on agriculture, because I think that Nigeria's focus has been on oil. You know, oil has been our primary forex. Bringing in the majority of the forex. So he says he's going to concentrate on agriculture as well as investing in the creative industry. Shaban, we've seen African countries, not only Nigeria but in Ghana as well, depend on export. And now Atiku is saying that, depend on import rather. Atiku is saying that he's going to ensure that he's going to improve on or focus on agriculture to ensure we have an equal footing when it comes to the GDP.
I would key in on the naira dollar issue first, if I'm allowed. You see, simply, currency is what drives an economy. If you don't have a currency and you have to depend on other people's currencies, your economy is in trouble. There's a reason why you must have a currency of your own even before the outside ones come in. So it's a problem. If you look at Buhari's posture, it's a very lackluster attitude. Emefiele has been at CBN since Buhari came. Nothing has been said of he going or coming. He even tried contesting presidential. He's still there. Whether I like it or not, the currency or an economy is run at 2 levels: the political level and then the banking or the financial sector level. So even though the political supersedes, but if you look at Buhari's posture, it's very laid back. It's like there are people in control, but he won't make consequential statements. Like our president made a consequential statement, a Ghanaian president made a consequential statement about stop speculating, so and so. But Buhari doesn't make those things. He has left it to the hands of the managers of the economy. It's a problem. This exchange rate issue is a problem because it goes beyond the economy. In the case of Nigeria, it goes to currency racketeering. This exchange, how do you call them, bureau guys.
Forex bureau.
So it has its own dynamics. And Nigeria is a big economy, so you always have people bringing dollars in. Okay, so it's there.
But you know, security is a problem in Nigeria, and I think that a lot of political pundits, a lot of social commentators have mentioned that agriculture is the way to go. You know, in terms of balancing the effect of forex on our GDP. Now, if we want to tow the agricultural route, like Atiku is saying, I'm sure Buhari made the same promise in his 2019 manifesto. But one key thing our leaders are lacking is the fact that they haven't been able to tackle insecurity. Now, Atiku has promised to focus on agriculture. Will this work in the current dispensation we are in?
Whether I like it or not, Nigeria doesn't exactly have an agri problem because there is food from the north, predominantly, coming down south. That is established. And the north complaining of security, remember that it is to the extreme northeast and then in recent times to the northwest. And so I don't know the exact impact of the insecurity on agricultural production.
So the impact is that farmers cannot now go to their farms because when they go, UGMs, like they now call them, unknown gunmen, attack them. We have bandits raiding their farms. We have the herdsmen now bringing their cows or bringing their animals to their cattle to graze on the farms. So these are the challenges. And I know Buhari tried handling the issue of grazing, but unfortunately he couldn't, based on obviously political reasons. But now Atiku is saying his focus is on agriculture. And I'll come to you. So he's also saying that he's going to focus more on the creative industry. The last time I heard a Nigerian presidential candidate focus on I mean, I don't think I've ever heard it, because their focus is more on oil, well, agriculture now, sports, but creative industry. How will this industry impact the Nigerian economy if indeed they invest in it?
Okay, so the thing there is, when you've not tried something before and you say you want to do it, remember that there is going to be a lot of ups and downs in it. So I don't know how they want to do it. It's something that we don't have in the Nigerian sphere before. So how they want to do it this time is what I don't know. Like, I don't really have much to say about that.
Then, if I go in on that, if you say creative industry, I think that, let's look at it from this perspective. Every single Nigerian politician, a very serious one, leverages on these artists. So you find artists aligning. You find P Square is in Peter Obi's camp. You find they will go to the northern Nigeria, to Kannywood, get a number of them who belong to one block. Atiku Asuwaju has met one block already. Nigeria has Nollywood. It's the biggest filmmaking industry in Africa. It cuts across the borders. It's in Kenya, it's in Ghana, it's in South Africa. Nigeria has Kannywood in the north. It is the biggest film industry across Niger, Chad. It even extends to Ghana. And Lagos and Abuja can safely be called the party capitals of Africa. It buzzes. Lagos hosts, I'm sure, more international artists than several other places. So the industry is already there. Okay? When they say they want to improve that industry, that is what we have to see as the game changer. What are they seeking to achieve? Because Nigeria's artist industry is the biggest. If you come to comedians, Nigeria has the biggest. If you come to musicians, the biggest. Only a few African artists can rival Nigerian artists. Okay, so my thinking is that when the politician makes some of these statements that are consequential, I think that they must be held to strict proof that what shows that you do this if you come. Okay, I think that is where you must look at. But generally, for a politician for Atiku and Nkommo to say they want to leverage on the arts, it's in the right direction because it is already there. Nigeria has the population in the first place. So when they produce, someone will get someone to watch someone's production. So Nigeria benefits a lot already. So Nigerians are always in a fix. They know the problem. The politician knows the problem. The remaining factor is trust. Whether you can trust whoever is telling us that, I will do it.
Can we actually trust them? So we're going to the Labour Party. I'll start with you because you're basically in Nigeria when this whole buzz about Peter Obi started and the love for him, the organic love for him, and how people were actually decamping, to his camp to pursue his dream of ruling Nigeria. Now, the conversation has been that he visits some religious bodies. Quite recently, he visited Shiloh. A lot of controversies have come up as a result of that particular visit, and now the conversation is that, are you being religious? You know, because this is a Peter Obi who has certain controversies in Anambra State with regard to religion, and when he was a governor. Now, people are saying, or there's this particular pastor who actually said that Peter Obi should focus more on the street. Okay. Peter Obi should focus more on winning Muslim votes than actually going to these religious organizations to campaign.
Okay, so I'll say that generally everybody knows that Peter Obi is a people's person. There are two things Peter Obi has done, and he has done it very well. One, he relates with the plight of the people, and then he knows where and how to meet these people. So, for example, these religious bodies where he goes to show himself and all that, some people will term it as, oh, this man is just showing himself, something like that. But it's more than showing himself, because one, we should remember that Nigeria is a religious place. Like, we hold religion very, very sacred. So for Peter Obi to go to all these religious bodies now, as the election is fast approaching, for me, I would say it's not looking like he's doing it just for, let me say, the fame, or to get more populants to, you know,
to
vote
come
for
to
him or come into the Labour Party and all that. As I said, he's a people's person. He knows the plight, and then when he speaks, that as he has been speaking, he speaks with facts. And then those facts...
Well, some people might beg to differ, because quite a few times there's been controversies on
when he speaks about something or he says something, he backs it up with facts and all. So when you go back and you check it and say, oh, this thing that he said is true and all that, to me, I don't see it as something that he's just doing out of the blues. It's something he used to do, like right from even when he was a governor of Anambra.
Yes, but is the strategy right? Seeing that Nigeria is a very, very religious state, like you said, dominated by Christians, dominated by Muslims, and to obviously win an election, you don't just need the Christian vote. You need a Muslim vote. And for Peter Obi to be able to be effective with regard to his electioneering or his campaign, he needs to also visit the Muslim side. So is it strategic that he visits just the churches and the top churches and the top man of God, and not visiting?
No, recently I think he visited one of the northern states, and the turnout there was, you know, a bit encouraging. But he hasn't gone to like 5 northern states. He hasn't
gone to a mosque yet. But has he gone to a mosque yet?
No, he hasn't gone to a mosque yet. Yes. So I don't know.
But is that not a problem?
He has something to fit into it.
Shaban, we've seen, I mean, like I said, Nigeria is a very, very religious state, and presidential candidates like to have a representation in the north and in the south. Atiku Abubakar has, obviously, is from the north, and Ifeanyi Okowa is from the south. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he's very, very strong in the south. He has ties to the north as well. Yes, and Shetima, obviously, born, he's from the north. Now, Peter Obi, in as much as he's picked Obidati as his running mate, who was also a senator, and he's not really strong in the north. Now, the controversy or the complaint is that Peter Obi's focus has been in the south, and he's weak in the north. And probably he needs to revise his strategy, you know. Okay,
so political strategy should be left to politicians. Peter Obi knows why he wants to campaign in a certain part of the country and why he doesn't go to a certain part. The best any analyst, any pastor can do is to critique it. But Obi knows what financial muscle he has. He knows what strategy he has. He knows what he is after, for which reason he will deploy one tactic or the other. Okay. The point about Nigeria being a religious country, if you want to test it, start it from Muslim ticket and the fury that it begs. Okay, so Nigeria being a religious country, it's not even up for discussion. It's just the facts. That's what it is. Now, if we want to transpose what you're talking about, has Atiku been to a church yet?
He has actually.
He has
actually.
If Bola Tinubu goes to the mosque to go and pray, is it an issue?
Yes,
if every Friday he goes to Abuja mosque to pray, is it an issue?
No.
So Peter will be going to a church. It's nobody's business. It's just Peter will be going for religious and for political purpose. That is for him. And mind you, the church of 50K congregants does not in any way mean the 50K are going to vote for Peter Obi anyway, because there will be PDP people there. There will be APC people there. Peter Obi is there for a reason. And if Peter Obi were any other person, he would have been any other congregant. But because of who he is, that is why you see Peter Obi in the front. That's why you see him having a word or two to also give, okay? And the church knows that, and the politician knows that in this season, the best thing that can happen to you is to get people seated in a place and the opportunity to speak to them. Yeah. Even if you don't make political statements, it will be adjudged as political. So, if Peter Obi has the opportunity to go to a church and he makes whatever statements he makes there, if the statements are devoid of any controversies, he didn't say anything wrong. I don't know.
Again, is it strategic?
That's why I'm saying that strategy is for the politician to tell you that I know why I'm. See, you can't tell me that the war chest that Asiwaju has, Peter Obi has. If Asiwaju decides to go to 10 states a day, he can fly to those independent states. Peter Obi might not be able to. Because we know where Peter Obi is coming from. And we know where Asiwaju is going towards. Okay? So it's like a Manchester United playing 3 tournaments and you playing 1. He has the muscle to play those 3. That's why he's playing those 3. And you have the muscle to play 1. So play that 1. Okay? So I think that for me it boils down to that. Strategy is for the politician to tell you this is how I feel about this. So I'm doing it this way. Okay? But whether Peter Obi hasn't gone to a mosque, he has a vice presidential candidate who is a Muslim to boot. Okay, so he can serve his interest in that other angle. He is not strong in the north. All of it is part of the political game. People want to say things that would let people say that he's not even worth giving a chance.
We don't know a fact that he's not strong in the north.
Okay, so being strength of a person depends on the outcome of the election in the long run.
So actually, because quite recently in Kogi, that was Lokoja. I mean, we all saw the turnout. In the rally, it wasn't really encouraging because right beside him, Atiku Abubakar had a very massive rally in Jos. So now, and this has more or less tested the strength of Peter Obi in that part of Nigeria. But when we come back from this break, we'll also be discussing. Okay, and this goes for the both of you. Again, during the same visit, Bishop Oyedepo said Nigeria doesn't need a leader, but a deliverer. We'll discuss this after the break.
Now, Susu sang pine, be a one ton and be a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you first can see about Kotoso. No, Mammy, I cook on Sam. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange waiting in Sudia. Unbeatable. Resume promo code no Dr. Likey. Nenya £10, $10, and now $10 What first transaction? What this Sunday scar coffee no? Dialogue to lemon and finance.
Guys, welcome. So we'll be concluding the conversations with my colleagues here, but before we end, we'll be talking about this very, very controversial statement from Bishop Oyedepo. He says what Nigeria needs in 2023 is not a leader, but a deliverer. In his word, he said, I think I am prompted by the Spirit. We need to pray for this nation. I warned this nation in 2015 that we are heading for crisis and trauma. Many were washing their mouth. They are off today. God does not require consensus to raise a prophet. I saw a nation going down the drain. I cried. There are many prophets or politicians who speak what they want to hear. I've been silent. What we need now is not a leader, but a deliverer. This is coming from Bishop Oyedepo. Ada, do we need a deliverer and not a leader?
Yes, we need both a leader and a deliverer. We need both.
Shaban, we've seen clerics in Nigeria try as much as possible not to get into the whole political conversations, and Bishop Oyedepo is one who does not shy away from it. He says it as it is. But in your opinion, based on what he said, Nigeria going through the whole trauma, Nigerians really going through the whole trauma, economic, security, a whole lot. Do we need a deliverer?
The bishop is being a bishop. There is no candidate in Nigeria who they say that if you want to be a deliverer, come and contest an election. Everybody who is contesting an election is a leader. He wants to lead the people. It is semantics. The only thing Nigeria needs is a leader who will deliver. Exactly. Apart from that, it has gone out into all this in semantics. You saw the Holy Spirit. See, they have been seeing Holy Spirit in Nigeria since. Nothing has changed. They should leave the Holy Spirit to rest. Nigeria needs a leader. We all agree to that. They need a leader who will deliver what they say they will give to Nigeria. Yes. Nigeria's potential is known, not by Nigerians. Even people outside Nigeria know Nigeria's potential. Nigeria, sub-regionally, Nigeria is like a big brother to everybody in the region. Akufo-Addo calls Buhari his big brother because he knows what Buhari is superintending over. Buhari is, with all of Nigeria's problems, if there is crisis in West Africa, the first country to give troops is Nigeria. In the Ajame, we saw it. It was Nigeria, Senegal. Right now, in Guinea-Bissau, the problem there, it is Nigeria that is helping to stabilize. That's why they have named the street after him in Bissau. It's not for any reason. The simple fact is that Nigeria has his own problems, but he makes time to look over his shoulder and deal with the others who have issues. Nigeria was donating cars to Niger. Yeah. It's not as if Nigeria doesn't have money, they have money, but Nigeria is always that big brother who stands up for the rest of everybody. So Nigeria needs a leader. It's as simple as that. If he had said Nigeria, a Ghanaian politician recently said, he is more of a leader than a politician. This is a politician speaking. And then he defined it to mean a leader is someone who doesn't look at the next election cycle. But the politician looks at the next election cycle. That's his definition. He has made a clear distinction. So he is a politician, but he says that he's more of a leader than a politician because he doesn't care about the election. If you lose, you should lose. It's okay. But he feels that to do right by his people is the most important thing. So whatever Bishop wants to say, you can also tell him that his church doesn't need a leader. The church needs a preacher. So he should stop calling himself a leader. If he wants that, we can also give him that designation. But bottom line is, a deliverer must be a leader because he's going to lead a group of people. So
I'll put the both of you on the spot. Per what Bishop Oyedepo said, amongst the three candidates, which of them would deliver or can deliver Nigeria to the promised land? And I'm referring to Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi. Shaban, I'll ask you that question as well.
For me, I see Atiku
as the deliverer. Do you have reasons for that?
My reason being that, he already held the vice president position for a while. And for me, I feel he knows what's happening in governance because he has already tasted it before. Though he wasn't the president, he was vice. But there are some critical decisions that
he took as vice president.
Yes, if the president can't do or can't go, then the vice will go. So I believe Atiku should do the job. Yes.
You think he will be and a leader as well? Yes. Shaban, you look from outside. Obviously you're not Nigerian, but you're a political commentator who is abreast with issues when it comes to Nigeria. Looking at these three political candidates, Atiku Abubakar, Bola Tinubu, and Peter Obi, who, in your opinion, would be the deliverer for Nigeria?
Okay, so I'll weigh in from the Atiku side first. And I also give a contrary view that Atiku has not been vice president for how many years now? For so long. Because he left, Obasanjo left in 2007. That's like almost 2 decades now. So Atiku has long not been in politics, but long not been in the executive, as it were. If you ask me, I will skip Bola because I don't think Bola has the capacity. I think Bola is going to be another Buhari, basically. And you see, the problem with all of these people is that you pick Atiku because Atiku has been there and done that. I'm not picking Atiku. The rest of the three people are all using their sub-national leadership skills to make a case. And I'll add Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso in Kano was huge.
Yes.
Bola was huge in Lagos. Yes. Peter Obi's record is still contested, but it is known that in Anambra he did quite well. Yes. The truth is that what you do in the sub-national cannot be a justification that because I did this in the sub-national, I can do this in the national. Because it's a different ballgame. Being in Abuja, i.e. the center, is different from being in one corner and impacting. You'll be shocked Bola would come, may not have the capacity even to go the long haul. And that is when
his capacity actually has been questioned by
that's when you have
quite a few people.
Over. So if you ask me personally, from where I sit, I don't know, but I won't pick any of them.
You won't pick any.
Maybe Nigeria should go leaderless, but because the three of them, I don't know. I have problems with all of them. But give and take, if you tell me, if you say okay, if you don't choose, then Nigeria will be leaderless, and so we should give Nigeria a leader. I mean, I tell her I'll go for Kwankwaso.
And that has been the conversation for today. With me in studio is Ada Gray. She's the head of the online unit for Daily Times, as well as my colleague Afar Shaban. He's a colleague with me at Africa Web. He's a political analyst. Today has been the show for the year. We'll go on break. Next year, Election Desk will resume. My name has been Babatunde Adela Kende.